Fly, Eagles, fly. The Eagles went 9-7 last year. Let's just start talking about their roster. If you didn't miss the Cowboys thing and you've actually watched some of these videos before, I'm kind of switching up the format to make sure that I can finish these in time for this season to start tomorrow. Okay, let's get into it. Carson Wentz, pretty solid quarterback. Obviously, I think what we're worrying about here is the fact that they may get he may get hurt sometimes. When he gets hurt, that's not what we like to see, because it's kind of the most important position on the field if you haven't watched a lot of football before, and he's very I really like him when he does play. He does everything at a really solid level to above average level, and I think he's a good quarterback. The only problem is he's got to stay on the field. Now, you look at the backups in the QB room, and I'm actually looking at the depth chart. So, Nate Sudfeld is actually listed as the backup QB, with Jalen Hurts as the third-string QB. I like them kind of getting a young guy in there. Then, at least they have an option to go to if I'm just interested, because he's obviously Jalen Hurts is obviously probably going to have some special packages with the Eagles that he'll get in the game on. And then also, I would think that he would be a good backup option at QB, but it's kind of strange to see that Nate Sudfeld is actually the second string quarterback as of now. But anyways, moving on to the running back position. Miles Sanders, I think he's primed for a breakout year. The only thing I don't like is that he's listed as questionable right now, which is kind of strange. I don't know what he did, so that's not good to see, but they play the Washington football team this Sunday, and I think they're pretty bad, so I think they still have the advantage here regardless. Then we talk about the receivers: Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I think you get Alshon Jeffrey back. He's actually out this week. Deshaun Jackson back. Kind of older veteran guys, but two guys that'll have solid production. The young guy, Jalen Reagor, he's a pretty good playmaker. We're going to have to see how he does in the league. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is still a young guy. Greg Ward obviously had a good year for them last year, considering all the other receivers that went down. Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert are also really good targets for Wentz or any other quarterbacks looking to throw the ball. So the tight ends room is really solid. I mean, Zach Ertz is probably easily top 10, if not top 5 tight end in the league. And Dallas Goedert, definitely a solid backup as well. And even Richard Rodgers is a name that you've heard of, which is their third tight end. He was in Green Bay for a while doing things, and that tight end room is strong to help out that receiving room, which was injured last year, and also just kind of missing some pieces, but together is back in full form. So really the skill position groups on this offense look really good. Jason Peters is going to play left tackle for them. Isaac Samualo, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Jason Kelsey at center. Samualo is the left guard. Right guard, Matt Pryor. And right tackle, Lane Johnson. Obviously, hearing those names on the offensive line, you're like, I trust both tackles in the center. The guards are the position on the offensive line that are kind of weak. But besides that, the offense is really balanced overall. I talked about how solid I think the Cowboys' offense is, and it's just, honestly, the Cowboys, almost at every position, have a guy that's more of a playmaker. So I'd say that gives the Cowboys just a straight-up offensive to offensive comparison, since they're in the same division. The Cowboys have an advantage there with the talent on the offense, just because the guys are more well-known and just superstars almost, as opposed to the guys here. But the Eagles have a huge advantage in the tight end room compared to the Cowboys. And on the other hand, I think the Eagles have a kind of a disadvantage with the guards that are quite suspect, to say the least, as I don't think I've ever heard either of those names, as Brandon Brooks is out and Andre Dillard is on IR, but he was gonna play tackle, I think. So Jason Peters and Lane Johnson are the tackles, so we got those locked down. I just think the guard position on the offense is really the place that I would look for some issues. Also, I don't think I mentioned backup running backs. Boston Scott and Corey Clement are two guys that I like as backups. I think they're solid behind Miles Sanders. I'm just going to mention that quick since he's questionable this weekend. They both could play well in place of him, but I really like if Miles Sanders is healthy for him to have a big season. Okay, let's talk about the defense. So, starters on defense, defensive line. Derek Barnett, Javon Hargrave is out this week. Derek Barnett's questionable. Malik Jackson will be in place of Javon Hargrave, most likely, with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham also on the defensive line. That D-line group, very impressive. The pressure on the quarterback, they definitely will get a lot. They're deep, too. They've also got guys like Vinny Curry, just as backups on the D-line. They've got Josh Sweat, too. They've got plenty of depth on the D-line, and this may be the strongest position group on the team. I mean, it is really impressive what they've been able to put together back there, and I think that they will never see a matchup where, even if they go up against the best offensive line, I think in the league, in terms of the trenches on defense, I don't think they'll ever be at a disadvantage. That's got to be one of the best D-lines in the league. Then you got to talk about their linebackers, though. Duke Riley, T.J. Edwards, Nathan Gary. Those are the starting linebackers. Any of those names stick out to you? I mean, not really. That's weak. You've got nice up front, but then you get to the second level, the run game's going to hurt you if you can get those guys blocked up front. Not liking to see that at all. And I think that's kind of where this team hurts a little more. Where I saw the weakness in the secondary for the Cowboys, they at least had somewhat known names. Well, the Eagles here with their linebacking core, it's just like, who are all these guys? I don't know. Maybe Eagles fans know better, but that is not what I like to see. Then you've got the secondary. The secondary is, it's kind of good. It's probably more middle of the road. Darius Slay, heck of a corner. I mean, they just picked him up in the offseason. That's a great move. Jalen Mills is now playing strong safety, which I didn't know, but he's usually a decent level player. Same with Rodney McLeod. He'll be the other safety, so both the safeties will be pretty good. Avonte Maddox, starting at the opposite corner. I don't know a ton about him, but I also like to see Nickel Roby-Coleman on roster. He is ridiculously underrated. He started with my Buffalo Bills, and he is a tremendous player at the nickel corner spot. He plays that spot tremendously, just about as well as you can in the entire league, and I think that's a very good addition. So I think the secondary is pretty solid, along with the defensive line being very good. It's just that middle of the defense, that linebacker level, that's like, that kind of makes me feel iffy. So it's strange to look at this team because it's really, you're looking at positions and you're seeing solid, great, solid, great, and it's either from a level of really good to great, or just almost like non-existent. Like, who are these guys? Just talking about quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, solid. Tight end, great. Left tackle, center, right tackle, solid. Left guard, right guard. Who? Entire defensive line, great. Linebackers, who? Secondary, solid. It's just a weird team to look at. Then you've got Cameron Johnston at punter and Jake Elliott at kicker, who's been there for a while and pretty good. Also, Jalen Rieger, the rookie, going to be the starting punt returner. Boston Scott's going to return kicks, though. So, excited to see what Jalen Rieger can do in the punt return game, because he was a pretty exciting playmaker in college. So, we're going to have to see what he does there. But now we got to talk about who they play this season. I just talked about the Cowboys. So, Cowboys, Giants, and the Washington football team, they're all going to play they're going to play each of those teams twice in the division this season. Giants and the Washington football team are both pretty bad. I think we can give them wins over both those teams in both the games they play them, so we'll put them at 4-0 for those. But the Cowboys, on the other hand, I said in the Cowboys video, I don't know how to feel about this. Maybe I should be splitting them, but I just like the Cowboys a little more. I think the Cowboys are going to improve, and I think they can take advantage of the weak spots in this Eagles roster. Even though they're few, I feel like the weak spots are very weak. So I think you can take advantage of those. And I think they'll drop both the games to the Cowboys. Then who do they play at home? Wow, the Eagles are a good team, and if I was to ever do power rankings, I would probably rank them a little bit above, like, middle of the road in the league, somewhere between that 10 to 16 spot, I would say. Meaning they should beat most of their opponents, but they got a rough schedule here just based off who I'm looking at immediately. You got at home, you have the Rams, Seahawks, Ravens, Bengals, and Saints. I'm seeing Saints. Saints are a complete team. I think they can lose to the Saints. I think the Ravens are a pretty complete team. You can lose to the Ravens. Seahawks, another pretty solid team with the additions they've made in the offseason. I think you can lose to them there too. 4-2 in the division. Dropping those 3 games just immediately, you'll put them at 4-5. But I still got to talk about the last 2 games they got at home. The Rams and the Bengals. The Bengals still got a while to go. They're young and they're upcoming, but they're not there yet. They're not as talented as this Eagles team is. The Eagles should be able to beat them, and that should set them at a 5-5 record. Now, the Rams, on the other hand, I could see this one going as a close game, but being a close game, and it could go one way or the other. But the Eagles have the home field advantage, and I think the Rams are kind of on the same talent level as them. Obviously, a different team. Not really. They don't do a ton of similar things. Really, I can't really compare them well, but I think that they are talent-wise pretty even, just in different areas of their teams. So that's kind of a toss-up game to me, but Philadelphia is the home team in that one. So I guess I'll give it to Philadelphia just because they're the home team, and that'll put them at 6-5. Then for the away games, for non-divisional opponents, they have to go to San Francisco. I really like San Francisco. That's going to be tough. I think that's a loss. That means that from 6-5 that we were just at, we can put them at 6-6. Now, who do we got left? Packers, Steelers, Browns, and Cardinals. Packers were 13-3 last year. I don't think the Packers are a 13-3 team again. I think there's going to be a bit of a drop off there, but I think that they are. I think they're good enough to beat the Philadelphia Eagles still. So I think they can drop to the Packers. They're going to Pittsburgh too. I mean, going these places just makes it that much more difficult to win. Going to Pittsburgh, that's going to be another tough one. I think Pittsburgh's a much improved team this year with Big Ben back too. I think they could lose that one as well. Then you've got the Browns and the Cardinals. I think these are more the games that if you want to steal some on the road, you're looking to win. But honestly, I don't think you're taking both of them. I think the Browns and Cardinals are both better teams. It's better teams than they were last season. It's just the Eagles are a good team too, but those are tough matchups to go into opponents' territory and win those games. So I'm probably going to say in those games, they'll split them 1-1. Don't know which way it'll be, but I think they'll either, if they beat the Browns, lose to the Cardinals. If they beat the Cardinals, lose to the Browns. I don't think they could steal both of them. So I'll throw them 1-1 in those games, which means their away record against non-divisional opponents will only be 1-4, which taken from our 6-5 record that we had before, putting them together means that the Eagles, in my prediction, are only going to go 7-9 this season, which doesn't sound very good for the talent on their team. It's just it's scheduling sometimes, man. It's scheduling, and they do not have a forgiving schedule. It seems like a lot of teams this year, after going through this series of predicting records for all these teams, a lot of good teams are actually within the same divisions. So if you get stuck playing like here, they play the NFC West and the AFC North. Those are tough matchups, man. And they were first place in their division last year, so their extra games are the NFC North champion Packers, and their extra game at home was the New Orleans Saints. Those extra games as a first place finisher in your division do not help you whatsoever. And that's why I think the Philadelphia Eagles will go 7-9 this year.
So, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching.
2020 president candidate.